My go-to chocolate chip cookie recipe involves using almond flour instead of wheat flour so that it's gluten-free and grain-free. This recipe that I'm about to show you is loosely based on the recipe printed on the back of the almond flour bag, and also it's in Elena Amsterdam's almond flour cookbook. You're going to start with 2.5 cups of the blanched almond flour. Please note that you need to use blanched almond flour with this recipe. Regular almond flour or almond meal won't work. I like to measure my almond flour using the scoop and level method like this, and I quite like this dry measurement cup. It's pretty cool. It has a plunger so that you can get the dry ingredients out easily, and then to adjust to the measurement, you just slide the little plunger thingy up the side there. And I say start with 2.5 cups of almond flour because that's what the recipe calls for. I frequently find that I end up adding anywhere from another quarter to a half a cup of almond flour once I have the dough mixed, because I like it to be a little bit stiffer. So once you have the flour in there, you want to add half a teaspoon of baking soda and a half a teaspoon of salt, and I'm just taking a whisk to evenly distribute the baking soda and the salt in the dry mixture. It is so hot this time of year that even in my pantry, my coconut oil is a clear liquid, not a white solid. But I'm going to need a half a cup of that, and then a half a cup of maple syrup. This is instead of the half a cup of grapeseed oil and half a cup of agave nectar in the original recipe. And I'm going to add a tablespoon of vanilla extract. And I'm going to whisk that all around until it's well combined. Because I store my maple syrup in the refrigerator, if it's an opened bottle, a lot of times it's colder than the coconut oil, and sometimes mixing the two together will make it look a little bit odd, and the mixture may go a little bit curdled as the colder maple syrup makes the coconut oil harden. If that happens, don't panic. You just want to keep whisking it, and everything will kind of come together. As you can see, now it's looking more creamy and less curdled, and it's going to look kind of like when you beat butter and sugar together in a traditional cookie recipe. You know how it goes kind of creamy? It's going to be more similar to that consistency. Then you just mix that into the almond flour, and this is going to give you kind of a loose dough like this. I would rather have the dough be a little bit stiffer, so I'm going to go ahead and add a bit more almond flour to it, and then I'm just going to mix it by hand and see if I like the consistency of that a little bit better. That's more like it. So I'm just going to add in my chocolate. I'm supposed to use a cup of dark chocolate. I only have a 3/4 cup of semi-sweet chips, but I'm throwing in some walnuts, and I'm just going to give that a good stir. Once everything is all evenly combined, then you want to chill this dough in the refrigerator for a good 20 minutes. In fact, sometimes I'll chill it for longer because I think it's easier to work with. While it's chilling, go ahead and line a couple of baking sheets with your parchment paper so that they're ready to go. And go ahead and preheat your oven to 350. When the dough is nice and chilled, I like to use a small ice cream scoop or disher to measure it out into even portions, and I just kind of scoop and scrape any excess off the side of the bowl like that, and then release it onto the parchment paper on the baking sheet. Once I have all my cookies scooped out, I'm going to gently flatten them using my fingertips, and they're ready to go in the oven. And I can usually get 2 trays worth of cookies out of this recipe, which gives me anywhere from 24 to 30 cookies. Okay, and they're ready to go in the oven for 7 to 10 minutes. Although honestly, this is what they look like after 10 minutes. I usually leave mine in the oven for more like 12 because I like a crunchier, crispier cookie. Then when they're done, I usually just slide the parchment paper and all onto a cooling rack and let them cool and then enjoy.